was gone. Every day I feared what Sarah would do next. The police were sympathetic but said their hands were tied without concrete evidence. All I could do was document everything and hope it would be enough to put a stop to her madness. Not only was she harassing me in my home, she would harass me outside my home. She would call me at all hours of the day, and since I didn't respond, she would leave nasty voicemails and text me threatening messages from a random phone number app. Sarah's harassment had reached a new height one night when she set a fire in my garage. The flames roared to life and started to consume my house. This lady was trying to unalive me. I woke up to the smell of smoke and the sound of sirens. I ran downstairs to see what started it, and as I got to the garage, I saw Sarah running back to her car and speeding off. I could see through her window a huge grin spread across her face, the same one I saw that night she set off fireworks in our garage. The fire department arrived just in time to prevent the fire from spreading to the entire house. I gave the police the footage from my security cameras, showing Sarah committing the arson. This time, the evidence was undeniable. Sarah was arrested and charged with multiple crimes, including arson, harassment, and breaking and entering. The trial was swift, and Sarah was found guilty on all counts. She was sentenced to several years in jail. With Sarah and her boyfriend behind bars, I finally felt a sense of relief. However, I couldn't shake the sadness and betrayal that lingered in my heart. My own sister had turned against me in the most vicious way imaginable. It was a wound that I knew would take a long time to heal. I visited Sarah in jail, hoping to understand what was the reason behind all this. During our conversation, it became clear that Sarah's actions were not just the result of jealousy and anger. She was deeply mentally ill. I already knew she was suffering from antisocial personality disorder, but how she acted towards me must have been more. Her inability to empathize or feel remorse had enabled her destructive behavior. Tears formed in her eyes as she told me that she never wanted things to end up like this. Even though she seemed genuine, I couldn't help but feel like this was the same Sarah who cried to me every time she got caught and would say anything to get out of a pickle. I left the jail with a heavy heart. I realized that I might never have the sisterly bond that I'd always wanted, but I also knew that I had done the right thing by standing up for myself and protecting my daughter. As time passed, my daughter Ella's condition was up in the air. I didn't mention this at the time, but she went to stay with my best friend for the time being because I never wanted her to potentially have to deal with Sarah herself. She had severe brain damage from the coma for a long time, and even after my sister had been imprisoned, I didn't have the heart to tell Ella everything and said she should just focus on recovering at the moment. She knew roughly what was going on, but I tried my best not to overwhelm her with information. But the day I was able to bring her back home knowing Sarah was behind bars, I was beyond grateful. For the first time in what felt like forever, the future seemed a little brighter. But then, just as I thought things were looking up and as I helped Ella settle into her room, my phone rang. The number was unfamiliar, and for a moment I considered letting it go to voicemail, but something compelled me to answer. I answered the phone and heard a lot of people in the background. The person on the other line called my name. It was Jake, Sarah's boyfriend.